Welcome back to my Book of Mormon summary. So I'm Alma 52. Ammoron, the brother of King Amalickiah, was appointed to reign, as Amalickiah was just murdered by Teancum in the last chapter. Now Teancum saw the Lamanites were determined to maintain those cities which they had taken, and those parts of the land which they had obtained possession of. Also seeing the enormity of their number, Teancum thought it was not expedient that he should attempt to attack them in their forts. They stole the cities of the Nephites. It came to pass that Moroni, having no hopes of meeting them upon fair grounds, therefore he resolved upon a plan that they might decoy the Lamanites out of their strongholds. And it came to pass that when the Lamanites saw that he began to flee, they took courage and pursued them with vigor. And while Teancum was thus leading away the Lamanites who were pursuing them in vain, behold, Moroni commanded that a part of his army, who were with him, should march forth into the city and take possession of it. And now behold, when the chief captains of the Lamanites beheld Lehi with his army, which is fresh, coming against them, they fled in much confusion, lest perhaps they should not obtain the city of Lehi before Lehi should overtake them. For they were wearied because of their march. The men of Lehi were fresh. They did compel the Lamanites to bury their dead. Because of iniquity, dissensions, and intrigue among themselves, the Nephites, they were placed in the most dangerous circumstances. 2,000 of those young men of the anti-Nephi Lehites, the people of Ammon, took their weapons of war, and they would that Helamen should be their leader. They were all young men, and they were exceedingly valiant for courage, and also for strength and activity. But behold, this was not all. They were men who were true at all times whatsoever thing they were entrusted. Yea, they were men of truth and soberness, for they had been taught to keep the commandments of God and to walk uprightly before him. Ammoron and Moroni negotiate prisoners. Exchange of prisoners. Moroni said, Behold, it supposeth me that I talk to you concerning these things in vain, or it supposeth me that thou art a child of hell. Therefore I will close my epistle by telling you that I will not exchange prisoners, save it be on conditions that you deliver up a man and his wife and his children for one prisoner. If this be the case, you will do it, I will exchange. Ammoron said, I will grant to exchange prisoners according to your request gladly, that I may preserve my food for my men of war, and will wage a war which shall be eternal, either to the subjecting the Nephites to have authority, or to their eternal extinction. And Moroni said, Behold, I will not exchange prisoners with Ammoron, save he will withdraw his purpose, as I have stated in my epistle, for I will not grant unto him that he have any more power than what he hath got. But Laman said unto them, Let us keep our wine. They're talking to the Nephites. And these are one of the Nephites, or the people of Ammon, that had dark skin like the Lamanites. Laman said unto them, Let us keep our wine, till we go against the Nephites to battle. But this saying only made them more desirous of the drink of the wine. And now when the Laman and his men saw that they were all drunken and were in deep sleep, they returned to Moroni and told them all the things that had happened. Now behold, this was done in the night time, so that when the Lamanites awoke in the morning, they beheld that they were surrounded by the Nephites without, and that their prisoners were armed within. But behold, the Nephites were not slow to remember the Lord their God in this time of their affliction. They could not be taken in their snares, yea, they would not partake of their wine, so they had first given some to the Lamanite prisoners. And the Lamanites, thus seeing the forces increase daily, and provisions arrive for its support, they began to be fearful, and began to sally forth, if it were possible, to put an end to our receiving provisions and strength. Now when the Lamanites began to grow uneasy on this wise, we were desirous that they build a stratagem into effect upon them. Therefore Antipas ordered that I should march forth with my little sons to a neighboring city, as if we were carrying provisions to a neighboring city. And it came to pass that we did flee before them northward, and thus we did lead away the most powerful army of the Lamanites. The Lamanites took courage and began to pursue them, and thus when the Lamanites were pursuing them with great vigor, when Helamen came upon their rear with his 2,000, and began to slay them exceedingly, insomuch the whole army of the Lamanites halted and turned upon Helamen. There had not one soul of them fallen to the earth. of the 2,000 warriors.